What up? This is Robert Horry.
Or three-pointer. Buries it!
You might know me as Big Shot Bob.
To Horry for three. Oh, unbelievable. This guy is off the charts.
What's going on, Big Shot Bob?
Robert Horry from downtown.
I know what's going on, Big Shot Bob. We got a podcast to do. It is a Big Shot Bob podcast. B-Dog Brandon Harper. I'm Rob Jenners. That's seven-time NBA champion Robert Horry. How are you, my friend?
Man, I am blessed, man. I'm just trying to figure out this crazy week we got. I got a lot going on. I got to go out to Summer League for a day, then come back for Camp Lakers, then go to Alabama, then go to Vegas again. So it's just like a crazy week. It's amazing. I have this time where I have nothing scheduled. And it's all like people get together in the huddle and say, hey, let's just bombard him with shit because you know he can't say no.
he does everything we want him to do. My dad used to always joke with me. He's like, it's either nothing's going on or everything's going on at once. There's no middle ground. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to Summer League
I like
for?
it like that. I'm doing something with Kia, and it's with the guy from Baylor. What's his name? The kid who just got drafted. VJ.
Oh, the VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah, he and I are going to do like a little Q&A together. So it's
that's cool.
We're going to be in a Kia car and just riding around asking each other questions.
Oh, so it's like one of those like driving and talking type. That's cool.
Correct. Uh-huh.
That's fun.
So that's going to be cool because I'm really, I like from watching him play at Baylor.
Yeah.
I really like this kid. I didn't know he was as athletic as he is because sometimes, when you play under a coach, you kind of hold back, but when you're in Summer League and you watch, I'm like, damn, this dude athletic. He can play. But, it's always good to get to meet the youngsters of the new era.
Oh, for sure. So are you gonna see any games or anything while you're out there?
No, I'm in and out.
You're in and out fast. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
So I was going to ask you. It's on the sheet to bring it up today because I just wanted to mention it because we're kind of in the thick of it. But like, how much attention do you guys really pay to Summer League? And the only reason I bring it up is we had Bronny James and Cooper Flagg on day one of the Summer League in Vegas. Is the most expensive Summer League ticket on record. $201 on average to get in the door for a Summer League game.
Yeah.
For a Summer League game, just because it's Bronny and it's Cooper. So
I don't pay attention to Summer League. I watch the Lakers. I think I watched who was it the other day? The Spurs and Golden State Warriors doing the California Summer League.
Yeah.
It was nothing else on, so I tuned in and then I tuned out really quick because I'm like, this is terrible.
Well, it's like for me, it's like to line it up, it's like Major League Baseball preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like who cares? Like spring training, like who cares? NFL preseason, who cares? None of these dudes are going to be on the roster. Maybe a couple of them make it. Some of the guys, though, I think more in NBA Summer League, it's really an opportunity to see what some of these draft picks actually can do on a court with other talent. The thing is, you're only getting kind of, entry-level type talent out there with those guys. You don't get any of the real NBA competition.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Summer League, many moons ago, I remember coming in and trying my first game. It's like, okay, do I try to be the star? Because I'm looking around, I'm the number one draft pick. And he said, well, I got my contract. Do I try to help these guys, get noticed? And by the third game, I'm like, man, fuck these motherfuckers. I'm working on my game, And I know the attitude with guys are now is way, way different. They trying to fuck everybody. I'm trying to show you what I can do because I'm trying to get more followers. I'm trying to get more endorsements. I'm trying to do all this kind of stuff. So I think nowadays kids, they don't give a fuck about nobody but themselves, especially some dude like, oh, you trying to make the league? You trying to take my spot? Oh, hell no, I'm not throwing you the ball. So, but I do like when I watch some team guys play together and I be saying to myself, yeah, you're playing together, but that ain't gonna help you, dude. So it's just weird.
It does though, in the sense that they're gonna have to step into a lineup or a roster that's already established. They're gonna have to learn how to play team ball, right?
Well, they know how to play team ball, but I'm just saying you got like it's like who was that? It was this kid from on the I think it was I can't remember. They kept giving him the ball because he's supposed to be a 3-point shooter, right? Oh, he's a three-point shooter. The
what
dude was
team?
like 2 for 12. I can't remember who it was. White guy. He looked like he was 40 years old. Had all the tattoos.
It was me. No.
But they kept giving him the ball like he's a an announcer. Oh, he's a three-point shooter. I'm like, dude, he's 2 for 12. I'm like, at the minute, they had
It very well
another
could have
guy.
been me then. Shit. I could shoot 2 for 12 probably.
But they had another guy who came out and hit 3 in a row, but they wasn't running any plays for him. I'm like, he just hit 3 in a row. Run a play for him. The same plays you running for this dude. And it goes to show you, he might have been one of their draft picks, and they trying to, see what he can do.
Yeah.
Instead of, having these guys who don't be drafted, that fucking better than the guys that be drafted. So it's just a shit show sometimes. So
it is. I think it's a good opportunity to see what some of these guys have. Mm-hmm. And like you said, maybe they run these plays for him because they're like, well, he was billed as the 3-point guy. So let's give him a whole bunch of opportunities in this game and see what he can do. And he goes 2 for 12. And he's going to be in the G League. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just.
And you put all this pressure on, like, we're going to come to you. Oh, fuck, I got it.
We're going to come to you 12 times. We're going to come to you. Not like a couple of times. We're going to come to you a dozen times. You better hit some of those jokers, man. All right. I was just curious how much Summer League stuff. Do you want to talk about Deandre Ayton real quick? Man's wearing your number.
He's wearing 5?
He's wearing 5.
Oh, I don't like him already. I'm just kidding.
I was going to ask you if it bothered him. Now, a lot of people have worn 5 for the Lakers since you've been gone. I wrote some of them down. Who else? Most recently, THT wore it. Malik Beasley, Cam Reddish wore it. Carlos Boozer wore it. Ime Udoka wore it right after you left.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have worn 5.
Yeah. And what's the white guy I really liked when he came from Maryland? He wore 5, I think, too.
He did. I didn't do the whole list. I just put some of the notables down. Yeah.
But I'm listening to all these reporters like Deandre Ayton is not the answer to winning a championship. I'm like, dude, one person ain't gonna fucking win you a championship. He's gonna help you win a championship. He's gonna help you be better. There's so many people shitting on him, man. I'm like, dude, I think you forget. Just 3 years ago, he helped, 4 years ago, helped the Phoenix Suns get to the NBA Finals. He's 27 years old. The guy can play, but so many people are hating on him, man. Like, give the dude a chance to play. I don't think people understand when you come out of a shit situation where you know you can't win, you go from almost winning a championship to you ain't gonna make the fucking playoffs. And it weighs when you're a competitive piece. Well, he still just want to compete. I said, yeah, he does. But now you have extra energy to compete as a Laker, and I'm excited about this. I hope he does well, and I hope he can get these Lakers past the Denver Nuggets or the Minnesota Timberwolves or whoever it may be. So
yeah, he's gonna. It's not that he's the piece that's gonna send you to the NBA Finals, but he is a piece that addresses a need. We all knew that the Lakers needed a big man. And really, before DeAndre Ayton got bought out, he became a free agent. The only real options the Lakers had was you had
what was one of the Lopez's on the radar for a minute?
Yeah, I mean you had Brooke Lopez was there. You had what's my guy who was in Boston? He used to play for the Hawks.
Oh, Porzingis? No, Porzingis is back with the Hawks. What am I talking about?
No, old guy. He's 38. Black guy. He played,
Clint Capella?
No, Al Horford. Al
Horford.
Oh, Al.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is
Al
on the
Horford.
NBA 2K cover twice. 2 of the shots of Shea, because Shea's on the cover, and 2 of the blurred shots of guys he's blowing past. One of them's Al Horford, and the other one's Al Horford.
So my point is, like, now instead of those being the options, now you get a 26-year-old still in his prime, big man who still averages 16 points and 10 rebounds in a bad year.
Yeah.
So, and who is the same age as Luka and came out in the same draft as Luka. We're talking about pick 1 and pick 3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's
so.
Right.
I'm not understanding how you don't think. Now, a lot of people saying, well, he's not this, and that. Look, I'm going to put it to you like this. If he can't be inspired putting on this jersey and playing with Luka and playing with LeBron, yes, it's a lot of pressure. But if at 26 years old, averaging 16 and 10, that you can't rise to the pressure when it comes to playing with these guys, then you ain't going to be able to do it anywhere. So this is his best situation to be in, to be able to, because he's raving about playing with Luka. about being on the same floor and growing and developing with Luka. Well, this is his opportunity. So I have all the faith in the world that he'll come in here and put in the work and do what they need to do. Now the Lakers still got a lot of work to do, I believe.
Got a lot of work.
But they've addressed the need at starting center. You bring back Jackson Hayes as your backup. People feel a way about that. But I think Jackson Hayes is a way better backup center than he is a starting center.
Correct. Yes.
So I think you got to put things into perspective. This is not, hey, we got him, you're gonna win the championship. No, this is a, hey, you address the need.
Yeah. I would love to know what people are grading the center on. Like, oh, we need a center. And let's talk about the 5 top centers in the league. And AD don't want to put himself as a center, so should we keep him in or take him out? We're gonna.
I would put him there because that's a position he probably plays more often than not, right?
Not anymore.
Yeah, well, I know not anymore.
Not there, yeah.
So you think about it, you need a center. So Joker.
Yeah.
Embiid. And name another good center.
If you're naming good centers, you might want to take Embiid off that list. And I only say that because my man is hurt half the time. But when he's healthy, he's great. But
do you put Wemby in the center category?
No, he don't even want to be an inside.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, if we go
4, right?
Okay, well, if we take Wemby out, then we take AD out.
Yeah. Well, we're not putting AD in because he's not even going to play center next season.
He's not going to play. Yeah.
So you think about it. So when you compare, everybody says we need a center.
Nobody has a center though. We've talked about this before. That's not the league anymore.
Yeah. It's like you say, oh, we need this center. We need that center. I'm like, that center, Ayton is just as good as if you start at centers and go from 3 down. I think Ayton is around 3, 4, 5 best centers left in the league. And that's what you have to compare to. You like, oh, well, he doesn't block a lot of shots. I'm like, what fucking center blocks shots? Like,
well, you got guys like Jared Allen. You got
I love him.
You got Miles Turner.
I know Miles Turner. You see, Miles Turner play. When's the last time you see Miles Turner post up? I know it's not a post up game anymore. I'm not saying that, but at least when you need a bucket, Embiid might post up, Joker might post up, AD might post up, and so
Bam.
Bam's a good center, but Bam's like a short center. Sabonis, yeah, I put Sabonis ahead of Ayton. But it's not
Jared
that many
Allen?
out there.
Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
put
saying.
Jared Allen ahead of him, but it's not that
Sengun?
many centers out there. Sengun, yeah.
That's probably the tops, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying. And when people like, oh, this, I'm like, if you take the top 10 centers, he's gonna probably be either in there or right on the outside looking in. So, and there's what 30 teams in the NBA, whatever it is, and like, you still got one of the best guys in the league at that position. So I want to know what people are grading this off of, like, oh, he's not this, not that. But I like him. I've always liked him, and I always was hoping that he would be a Laker. Now we got him. Now you just need to carry them to the finals.
No, he's not. You can shut up.
And here's the thing. When they had the opportunity during the season to grab Mark Williams, and obviously you had to trade Dalton Connect and then their future first round pick. Mark Williams is 23 years old, really coming into his own. Mark Williams, I wouldn't say Mark Williams was better than DeAndre Ayton, and you had to give up Dalton Connect and a first round pick to go get him.
True.
Now, obviously, that trade was rescinded for whatever reason. So now what you've just gotten is you've gotten a 26-year-old center in the middle of his prime who was bought out. You sign him as a free agent to a 2-year deal with a player option for the second year. And what is he making? $8 million a year? At 26 years old?
Yeah.
Come on now.
I mean,
and he's averaging 16 and 10?
He's been too good in the past not to take the flyer and give it a run. You know what I mean? You got to give it a try. And you needed a piece there. So you plug it in and you see what happens. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be any worse than what it was, I don't think. The guy's got skills. He plays really well. We've talked about this thoroughly. So, right. I think people love, look, we're in a culture today of people that love to just shit on everybody else's stuff.
Uh-huh.
I really believe that. And it goes across all mediums, but the NBA especially. Like, everybody wants to dump on a roster move, and it's like, well, what the F else were you going to do?
How much was he, what was that Phoenix contract Because he signed the extension with Phoenix, didn't he?
Uh-huh.
What was that? What was the numbers on that contract, and how much was he making per year? Because I want people to see something, and just to see what the Lakers end up really getting at a discount price.
Yeah, it's weird. Let's see, what was he making?
I'm trying to ask ChatGPT.
Because it had to be north of 25 million.
Yeah, let's see. What was DeAndre Ayton's contract in Phoenix? 4 years, $132 million.
Yeah.
So
and he signed it in July of 2022.
So you said 4 years, 100 and
4
what?
years, 133.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. And he signed that in July of 22. So he would be in the last year, I guess.
And you said 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, 4 years. So he's making 33.2 a year on that.
So you're talking about a guy who technically signed an extension, got $33 million a year, which for how he was playing and what Phoenix believed he was worth it. Mm-hmm. He ends up in Portland. I don't know. I think he was on that same contract, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets bought out of that. And at 26 years old, you sign, like I said, a 26-year-old to a 2-year deal with a player option for $8 million per. So for him to go from the 33 to the 8 per that you're paying him, and he's only 26 years old and still averages a double-double, regardless of what you say his motor is or whatever, because we know he can still play. Mm-hmm. I think that's a deal that the Lakers that fell into the Lakers' lap that they'll take any day, all day, over the options that were already there.
Yeah,
and they didn't have to give up anything.
Nothing. How many centers out there you think about? 19, 20, 17, 21. 21, 18, 17. That's what he's averaged. His lowest average was 17 points. How many centers out there outside of the ones we talk about have won the MVP awards? I averaged 17 points. So I think people look at where he was and they figure, oh, he was in Portland. He should have had crazy
terrible
numbers.
Yeah.
No, dude, you got a bunch of fucking young ass guards that's trying to make their way. They ain't passing the fucking ball.
Shooting the lights out of it.
That shit. Yeah. So you can, when you're a center, you can only score. You can only do as much as you do once they feed you. I see. So, yeah.
Well, I thought it was a good move. We'll see how it works out.
We love it.
A lot of other stuff to get to.
Yeah.
Anything particular on your mind you want to talk about? Because there's like 15 things on this week.
Let's talk about the Bradley Beal buyout.
Go ahead, man. Bradley Beal gets his buyout.
Did they officially buy him out?
It's on the table. I don't know if it's official yet, but he's looking to get about $14 million back from his finalized buyout. That was the minimum they would have to give him to waive and stretch his contract over the next several seasons. Mm-hmm. So the question now becomes, if he does get the buyout, and it looks like it's going to happen, where does he go?
If I'm Bradley,
I'll tell you who the front runner is.
Who, Lakers?
No, the Clippers.
The Clippers.
The Clippers are on the table right now for Beal because of the Norman Powell trade.
Wait, what happened? Did I miss that?
All right, we're gonna skip back a little bit here. The Clippers, Jazz, and Heat pulled off a 3-team deal last week. Norman Powell to the Heat, John Collins to the Clippers, Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson to the Jazz. Kevin Love is expected to be bought out of his deal.
I saw where it said Kevin Love was traded, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who gives a shit?
I know. Even Kevin.
All they talked about was the Kevin Love. I'm like, who did he get traded for?
Yeah, he was part of that deal. He's part of that deal. So John Collins to the Clippers. Norman Powell goes to Miami.
I know John Collins did well when he was with you guys with the Hawks, but when he
hadn't made much noise since, though.
He's like a Deandre Ayton. He was good when he was where he was liking it, and then he went where all you remember about John Collins getting fucking dunked on by Ant-Man. That's how everybody thinks.
That was the highlight of the last few years for him.
Yeah. But damn, the Miami Heat they finally got us. How's he gonna fit in down? I know he's like, okay, I'm used to motherfuckers slinging that bitch up because he's played with Kawhi and James, but he was the best player on the Clippers last year until, oh well, I don't know.
It's a weird move. I was very surprised LA didn't make more of a move to try and keep him there, or were willing to move him for John
I'm
Collins? I
shocked.
mean, John Collins, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, last year, he made pretty much an all-star season last year.
Was that a financial move?
Probably.
Who knows? Maybe.
You got a freaking third, fourth, fifth richest man in the fucking country. What do you fucking care about?
Yeah, I mean, you got Harden 2
Luxury
years
tax.
now. You got what? You got Kawhi on another. I think he's got 2 more years on his deal or something. So if it's financial, it's short-term financial. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Man. That's a weird move.
weird
But
one.
anyway,
That's a
so
weird one.
with that move, the Clippers seem to be the front runner for Bradley Beal. So you could potentially have a Kawhi, Bradley Beal, James Harden.
Yeah. How
Trio.
tall is John Collins?
6'8",
6'10"?
6'9".
He ain't no center.
No,
He-
John
he
Collins
ain't-
ain't no center.
He ain't no
No.
stretch four. So
No,
what
not
did-
really.
What did the Clippers need him for?
Well, that's what he's classified as a 4.
Yeah, but he's not a stretch four. Clippers need a stretch four.
Well, I will say one thing that John had worked on, even when he was here in Atlanta, he had gotten better with his shooting. Now I'm not saying that I ain't saying he's Porzingis with his shooting, but he had gotten better. Now, how a team perceives you, how they see you fitting into what they do, hey, that's up to them based off the moves they make.
Yeah.
So
He averaged 19 points a game last year. So okay.
So the report is, I don't know how true, but the report was that the reason why the Jazz traded John Collins is because they were helping them win. He was helping them win too much.
Yeah, because of all the Jazz talk we had last season during the year.
Because I think he said they only limited him to 40 games. He may have only played 40 games last year.
I don't even remember.
That's funny.
It shows you how much we paid attention to the Jazz.
Well, I guess they got Ace Bailey now. They don't need him.
Yeah,
they're
fine.
the same players. So
They're similar. Yeah, they're very similar style players.
yeah, well, I think it's gonna be
Ace
interesting to see
Bailey
what
and John.
Bradley.
No.
ends up.
You don't think so?
No, they may be the same height, but they ain't similar players. I wouldn't consider John Collins a playmaker. Ace Bailey is a playmaker.
John's had his flashes, though.
Flashes.
Okay.
But I'm talking about Ace Bailey is a
Well, we don't know
ball
anything about
handler
Ace
and a
Bailey on an
playmaker.
NBA level. We know Ace Bailey at freaking Rutgers. So it's like,
Right. But even at Rutgers, he was a playmaker.
okay. Rob could be a
that's gonna be-
playmaker at Rutgers today.
Nah.
All right, that was me. Sorry, I didn't mean that. All right.
You mentioned Rob. I got asked to play in this game out here in LA, and I'm like, dude, aren't you out your fucking mind?
What
It's
game?
Like, yeah, it's some dude was trying to get a bunch of ex NBA players to come show up and play like a one-on-one thing.
It wasn't Ice Cube, was it?
No, it wasn't Ice Cube.
Okay, good.
But it was like, I'm like, dude, are you out your fucking mind? You better have a bunch of medics out there. And I'm like, I don't know who he invited, but I know it was Nick. Nick Young was one of the guys.
Okay.
And he had invited Jack, but Jack just had hip surgery, so he's out. He invited a couple other players. And I'm like, dude, Ariza. I'm like, he's like, yeah, I give you money to come out. I'm like, dude, you think I'm gonna come out fucking play some basketball at this age for $5,000? You out your fucking mind?
$5,000 worth of knee surgery coming out.
He really said $5,000.
Well, actually, if you win an extra $5,000, if you win, but it's like with $2,500 to come out. I'm like, dude, you funny.
Come on now. Like,
I say,
come on now.
for me to get play basketball right now, you got to give me 6 or 7 figures right now.
Yeah, for real. And even then, do you want the and this is, I'm not trying to be a dick or take a shot at you. It's just that's hard. That's got to be tough for you at your age to try and get out and play competitively just because your body's not going to cooperate with that.
I ain't trying to make it corporate.
Right.
Hey,
and you're going to end up more hurt
is-
than whatever you make,
Jogging and stationary shooting is all you gonna get out of me.
Yeah, just post Rob up in the corner and just let him throw a few up. And, $2,500. Are you out of your mind? Shit. All right. Well, there's a few other things going on here. Let me see what else. Chris Paul announced it's going to be his last season. He was on Jameel Hill's podcast, and she asked him, kind of how long he wanted to keep playing, and he said at most a year. So if you're Chris Paul, where do you want to finish your career this year? If you had your choice,
He lives out here.
Okay.
He lives in LA.
So you're thinking
So
Lakers?
he's gonna go Clippers or Lakers. Watch, that's gonna be last who.
Oh, it'll be Clippers reunion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go back to the Clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
wouldn't
if
be
you look
bad.
at the Clippers, who's a backup point guard to James?
I don't know.
So I think that'd be a good spot for him, because he don't have to really play a lot of minutes. He can come out and try to get his game on. So I think Clippers would be good for him. Because the Clippers, I think, was outside New Orleans. I think that was his best stint as a player. He took those guys to a couple of Western Conference Finals. If they probably had a better coach, they probably. No, I'm just kidding.
Bones Highland.
Yeah, yeah.
Bones
Oh,
Highland's the next
Bones.
guy up
Oh,
in
yeah.
the depth chart.
Yeah, Bones
He's your
Highland.
backup point guard, shooting guard. So, all right. Not a bad spot for him. I mean, I guess, too, if you're Chris and you really look at it, I mean, what a career he's had.
Yeah.
You want to go somewhere where you have a legitimate shot, right, to try and win a ring in your last. Knowing that this is probably it, do you think the Clippers is his best spot for that? Just because he lives out there?
I don't think if you're trying to win a championship, your best spot right now, if I'm him, I'm going to Denver.
Okay.
Be a backup point guard at Denver because Denver made a lot of really good moves. They don't have Westbrook as the backup point guard anymore. So, I know they just brought back Bruce Brown, but he's not really a point guard. But if I'm Chris, I'm trying to win a championship, I think I would take my talents to the Denver Nuggets because you don't have a spot with OKC and nobody in the East is going to win it this year. It's going to come out of the West again. So I think
Houston?
I'm going to the Nuggets. Well, he's been there, done that.
He has, but he's been in LA and done that too. So
yeah, yeah. Houston is a good spot too, but I think I would ride with Jokic and the
Jamal?
Rockets. Yeah.
Okay. Paolo got his extension. Got a couple big extensions this week, actually. So Paolo got his 5-year maximum rookie contract extension with the Magic. Could reach up to $287 million. And then announced today, the Thunder signed Chet Holmgren to his 5-year, $250 million rookie max contract. So on the Thunder right now, Chet and SGA are making $535 million, the two of them, under contract over the next 4 or 5 years.
Hey, when is Jalen contract up? When he's due for his extension?
Next year, the year after, I think. Maybe the year after.
Hey.
They might have another year or two on him. I don't know. I'd have to look at that. But, I mean, congrats and well-deserved. But I guess if you're the Thunder, you knew this was a bridge you were going to have to cross, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it was like, we can only be cheap and young for so long. It was you were going to have to pay all these guys, especially SGA. If you wanted to keep Chet, you were going to have to probably pony up for it. Does this hamstring them down the line now?
Yep.
Okay. Because it's like,
to me, they're turning into the Golden State Warriors. Remember when you had the Splash Brothers and Draymond?
Good analogy, yeah.
You got to play those three guys, your top three guys. So now you got to look back. I'm like, shit, who's your top third guy? It's got to be Jalen. So
it's Jalen.
Yeah.
But you just gave Hartenstein all that fucking money. So you kind of like putting yourself. Even I know the cap space is moving up, but as a team, OKC, small market team, are you willing to invest that much money in 4 players? Because you ain't gonna be able to get nobody else. What happens when Luke Dort is up? You got to keep him because he's defense. It's like, well, it's gonna be hard.
And that's just it though. When you start signing these deals, you got to keep players tend to not be kept because you have to make sacrifices somewhere in the roster. And OKC, what is OKC's? And I don't know this. I shouldn't ask a question I don't know the answer to, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do we know what kind of picks they have still? Do they have a lot of picks still?
They got a bunch.
Because I remember that they were sitting on a bunch, but I don't know how many got moved in any of these deals or anything they've had to do in the recent. So I mean, if they're sitting on a bunch of picks, I guess you just hope that you can find guys down the line that are going to be young and inexpensive to add into that roster.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this 100 times too. That's all gamble. You're hoping you get the right guys, but you're taking shots at people. So that's a big deal for them, though. That's a lot of money for 2 dudes.
So Jalen Williams, obviously he's a restricted free agent after the 26-27 season.
Okay. So after yeah.
And he'll be 25 then.
Okay, so that's 2 years till he hits restricted.
So you got, this coming
So you
up
got
season.
2 seasons, yeah.
And then so he's making what, 6.5?
Yeah, I was gonna say my guess was gonna be 8. That's even
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywhere between,
So you're gonna have 2 more years of him on a and that's if he
at a budget market, yeah.
Right, and that's if after this coming season, he doesn't hit the table and ask for some an extension early.
But here's the thing: I guarantee you, when his contract is up, they're gonna trade him because you think about it, you about to pay Shea what, 70 million a year,
Oh
whatever
yeah,
it
he's
is.
about to cross that threshold. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
and
you
by
owe
the
Chet all
time
this
he's
money.
him, Chet, and
Hartstein's
you
getting paid.
You think about it, you got 3 of those 3 right there. You could find I ain't saying, when I say this, don't take it the wrong way. You could find a person who can replace Jalen Williams. Not it's gonna be as good, probably, but you can find a bargain basement Jalen Williams to fit in that system because Shea is so good, and then you got other people on the team that are so good that I think that would be one of the pieces that get rid of. They ain't gonna want to because they want a championship with him, but they're gonna have to. So.
Lou Dort is under a 5-year, $82.5 million deal. He's not a unrestricted free agent until after the 27-28 season.
Oh, so they got time on him. So they got a little bit of time to figure this out.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
he's making 16, 17, 18 million.
So he's making a pretty decent piece of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Right now, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, after you go on the run you have, I mean, even the season they had last season, and they didn't end up in the final, was great. And then you end up this season with the dream season and you win the title. They had to do some of this. And then they knew this was coming down the line. They had to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then we got the news this week, not that this is any surprise, but Tyrese Halliburton's going to miss all of next season.
Of course.
With the Achilles.
Yeah.
So that was an official.
JT.
Yep.
Dame.
Yep. Well, look, you brought up Dame. That's the other question. With everything that's going on now with him, could Dame land in Golden State was the question of the week that I saw a bunch of people ask. Now, the idea of that isn't really that far-fetched, I don't think. Offensively, can you imagine what it would look like if you had Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Dame in that lineup together?
By the time Dame comes back,
it's going to be a minute.
It's going to be a minute. It's going to be just like skip a year. Is Draymond still going to be at a Draymond level?
Well, yeah.
Will Jimmy Butler be happy? Will Steph be happy?
Will Jimmy Butler not have blown up the locker room?
Putting up with Draymond's antics. So it's like that's
true. You got to see how this
yeah.
season shakes, but the idea of that is fun. I don't know if it's going to be a reality or not, but I think if he's going to have to pick a spot to go, it might be an opportunity for him there, even if it means replacing some of those guys.
Yeah.
Not a bad spot for him. A couple other quick things, and then we're going to do Big Shot of the Week, and then we will play Rapid Fire. The Knicks hire Mike Brown as their new head coach. Rob does not seem impressed.
Man, I ain't trying to hate on the brother. I'm happy that he got a job. He's won Coach of the Year twice. But I hope going into the Knicks that he comes up with his own fucking game plan. He has some great coaching staff because you think about it, when he went to Cleveland, he took all the plays from San Antonio. When he went to fucking Sacramento, he took all the plays from Golden State. Dude, I know you the greatest form of flattery is imitating someone, but at one point you got to come up with your own shit, dude. And this is basketball. Come up with some plays that will fit your team. And I hope he does well, but I'm so sick of these fucking NBA GMs and owners recycling these coaches. There's too many young coaches out there that you can give a shot to, and give them a shot to try to bring some new blood into, and that's not shitting on Mike Brown. You've failed 3 times. Maybe is it 4? How many times has he been head coach? Cleveland,
Sacramento,
Lakers,
Sacramento.
I think this might be his 4th stint. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like 3 strikes and you're out, dude. You a hell of an assistant. Go back to being an assistant because that seemed like you're better at that role. And, and I hope Mike Brown be successful. I do. But I'm pointing this at GMs and coaches. There's too many fucking coaches sitting on the sideline that's been there for years, you know, and get them a shot. Stop recycling these fucking coaches and stop, thinking everybody that comes out from the Pop system is going to take you to a championship like Pop was. There's only one Pop, so stop it.
My thing is, I thought they wanted to go after somebody who had championship experience or who had won a title. And last time I checked, I don't believe Mike Brown has won a title.
Not as a head coach.
Not as a head coach.
Not as a head coach,
Yeah.
right. And so I'm not knocking Mike Brown. Look, another head coaching opportunity, salute. I just didn't think that's the direction they were going to go in when you're firing Tibbs. I kind of thought, as a lot of people thought, you talk about championship experience as a head coach, that Mike Malone would have been the guy. Now, who's to say they didn't speak with Mike Malone and he didn't turn it down?
Exactly.
But my problem with that is they brought out a report of all the other coaches they wanted to interview that already had jobs, and those franchises said no. They said it about Quinn Snyder. They said that about Minnesota's head coach. They even went to South Carolina.
It was like story after story about that. Oh,
Right.
yeah, and then Dawn Staley. Yeah.
Dawn Staley. So you've gone after head coaches who've had other jobs, and those specific franchises have turned down those requests to speak to those coaches. Now, I don't know if South Carolina did or not, but those other coaches in the NBA, yeah, those franchises said no. So the one guy who just got fired, and Mike Malone, who just a few years ago won a title. Now, people are going to sit up there and say, oh, well, yeah, in New York, you don't have the Joker and you don't have Jamal Murray. I said, dog, he's a championship coach. He's a championship coach. Like, the Knicks have had Carmelo, the Knicks have had players, and they still have not been able to win a title. Even when they had Pat Ewing, they weren't able to win a title. So
Thanks,
they've also
Rob.
had... so the Knicks have had players too, and they were not able to do anything. So yes, you need the right players to be able to win a title. Rob knows that more than anybody. You need the players you need in order to win a title. Phil Jackson is not Phil Jackson without guys like Rob, without guys like Kobe, without Mike, without Scott. Like, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a great coach. But a great coach has to have great players that also want to buy into what he's selling.
Yeah.
So, and you're right, Rob. I mean, look. I think realistically, if he just gives his starters 5 minutes rest a game, they're gonna love Mike Brown in New York. They get a chance to sit on the bench for 5 minutes. They're gonna be like, "Damn, Tibbs would have me running laps in between timeouts." Like, what are you talking about? I just look. I don't know if the fit is right. I don't know what Mike's gonna bring to the table there. He's got good players. I mean, the Knicks showed you this year that the roster's good. It's strong. I mean, they got those guys when they play well and they play together. They're a great team. I don't know how far they're going to go with Mike, though. And we'll see. I mean, he's going to have to get into his coaching bag a little bit here, Rob, to your point.
Yes, he is.
And do something a little different with those guys, because if you try to retread what they've done before, you're going to end up exactly where you've been.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. I'm just, I hope his coaching bag has improved. But from what I've seen, him, he's a copycat. It's like, where's Sigourney Weaver when you need it?
Yeah, really.
Copycat killer is what I'm referring to.
I was going to say, I missed the reference at first and then got it. I was like, copycat. Copycat. That's right. Yeah. For some reason, my brain went to Avatar. And I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right at all. All right, let's do Big Shot of the Week, and then we're going to play Rapid Fire. Big Shot of the Week is going to go to Petty Officer Scott Ruskin of the U.S. Coast Guard. This has to do with the absolute tragedy in Texas with the flooding.
Yeah.
And my God, are we thinking of these people this week? Because that has been some of the most heart-wrenching stories. I mean, the summer camp with all the girls in it, and a bunch of the girls are missing. There's hundreds of people still missing. It is absolute tragedy, but I'm going to give this guy Big Shot of the Week for this reason. He's a 26-year-old. He's new to the Coast Guard. When they got the call in Central Texas to help out with the flooding over 4th of July weekend, Floodwaters in the area swept through and battered several youth camps on the riverbanks, including Camp Mystic, which is where about 200 of the campers at an all-girls Christian camp needed rescue. With bridges and roadways overcome by floodwaters and the water too high for boat rescues, the only option was to airlift the girls. So the Texas Air National Guard aircraft landed at the camp's archery field and soccer field. And this gentleman, Scott Ruskin, led children about 10 or 15 at a time through the waters and over to the aircraft, rescuing about 165 girls on his own.
Wow.
Getting them to that aircraft and getting them out of there. The Department of Homeland Security has hailed him as an American hero. And there's a lot of tragedy around that story too, especially around Camp Mystic and some of those girls that are still missing. But the fact that this man did everything he could on his own as a 26-year-old to get 165 girls out of there, 10 to 15 at a time, means that guy had to swim and trek back and forth, 15 times? To get all those girls out of there, he had to been just whooped by the end of that.
Yeah.
And he said, they stayed strong. The girls and everybody I tried to help get out of there were as strong as I was. And, so just to that gentleman who is a young man who made the most of a situation that was just absolutely horrendous. Big shot of the week, Scott Ruskin, for doing everything you did to help those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that story just rips my heart out, man. That sucks.
And it is. And big ups to Jalen Hurts for, doing what he's going to do for all those people too. It's going to help with expenses, comes with funerals and whatnot. And just,
Dude,
it's
horrible,
awful tragedy, man. And you think about, so many reports are coming out. We're not going to get into that, but it's just, it goes to show you when you take away certain funding and you don't have the ability to warn kids, this is, the tragedy you could happen. So it's just,
it's tough.
And then you see what's going on in New Mexico right now. It's just, I just feel bad for people who've been in the way of these floods. And, you don't fuck with Mother Nature because she will do what she wants to do when she wants to do it.
Her and Father Time, both undefeated.
Mm-hmm. Both of them.
All right, well, let's goof off and have a little bit of fun here. Rapid Fire is back. Rapid Fire, the game that Brandon loves so much, where I give you 60 seconds and I just hammer you with general knowledge trivia questions. We'll see how many you can get in 60 seconds. The namesake of the show always gets to pick if he wants to go first or if he cares to defer. So I go to Robert Horry. I've been trying
to read Harp, see what kind of mood he in today. He's in a good mood today, so I'm going first.
Okay, so you're gonna try and ruin his good mood. I love that. Okay, so strategy, and I enjoy it. All right, let's load up the clock and give Rob 60 seconds. Here we go. Rapid fire. The average calendar year consists of how many weeks? Rob?
48.
Incorrect, 52. The savory boiled sheep gut pudding known as haggis is the national dish of what country?
I don't know.
Scotland. If you've got a camera in your keister, you're most likely undergoing what screening procedure?
Colonoscopy.
Correct. The famous chewable vitamins seen in stores for a generation are inspired by what modern Stone Age family?
Flintstones.
Correct. Hope or dream? What did Blac Chyna and Rob Kardashian name their daughter?
Hope.
Dream. Which number in England sounds just like the German? Which number in English sounds like the German word for no?
Net.
9.
I don't know. 9.
What's the name of the web browser owned by Google?
Chrome.
It is, but you got it after the buzzer.
I think you got 3.
You did not do well. You did not do well. How many weeks are in a year? 48? There's that Alabama education screaming through.
Dude, I'm sitting here waiting am I going up? I'm like, oh shit, I'm up.
You said you wanted to go first.
Yeah, you said you wanted to go first.
You fucking all right. Dream. I put that in there because dream. I figured you'd get dream, but no.
I don't know.
9. Didn't get that one either.
9.
Bro, you got 2.
3. Oh, you got 2.
No, he got 2.
I got 3.
No, you didn't. You missed 52 weeks. You missed Scotland.
Yeah.
You got colonoscopy. You got Flintstones. You missed Dream. You missed 9, and you got Chrome after the buzzer.
Oh.
So you got 2.
Well, I think you should add a couple of seconds because
is that what I should do? Because you didn't forget what you were doing?
No, because one of the questions you like, I got
shit,
the knife.
come on. You sat there with a blank look on your face for 5 seconds on how many weeks are in a year. You glitch in the matrix. You blame me. All right, Harper, you got to be 2. Let's see what you can do here.
You talking about all this pressure?
Here we go. Though he's in his 70s, Gene Simmons still spits fake blood and breathes real fire for what rock band?
This is not. No. I'll pass.
Kiss.
Yes.
19th century prospectors famously rushed to California to pan for what precious metal?
Gold.
Correct. Deputy Rick Grimes wakes up to find Atlanta's overrun by zombies in what long-running TV show?
Walking Dead.
Correct. Sandals or socks? What's a Caribbean resort chain for couples?
Sandals.
Correct. If you want to join the Mile High Club over the Mile High City, what city should you fly over?
Denver.
Correct. What letter does the apostrophe in the words couldn't and wouldn't replace?
Not.
No, the letter O.
Oh,
my bad. I think about the word.
What is the last word in the King James Bible?
What is the last word in the
King James Bible?
Last word. I can't remember.
Amen.
Amen.
that's like amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
I overthought that.
You
should
did
know my word.
You did good on that, man.
I
think I did
it's
4.
conspiracy here, man.
I let you
How?
pick, motherfucker. I let you pick. This is your choice. You live with the choices you make.
The show sheet.
You live with the choices you make, you son of a bitch.
Look, you could have just said, first one. I'm gonna just switch them. Give him the easy one.
No, I didn't. I read them in order. Look, there's a whole bunch of questions. I read them in order. You picked to go first. You chose this. All right. Well, Harper
Put that evil on me.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. That was on the other night. I love that. Love that movie. All right. Well, Harp,
I'm up.
you get to go again here, and we'll see if
right.
Rob can redeem himself on the other side. So here we go. 60 seconds. Load it up. A recurring migraine is how the LA Times described the jingle that goes 1877 cars for whom?
Cars for sale.
No, cars for kids. What popular candy bar shares its name with the galaxy that includes our solar system?
Milky Way.
Correct. In her song Formation, Beyonce says if she enjoys your lovemaking, she'll take you to what popular seafood chain?
Oh, Red Lobster.
Correct. In education, the 4 STEM fields of study are science, technology, engineering, and what M word?
Math.
Correct. If you find a Cheeto, 3 pennies, and 2 quarters in your couch cushions, how much money do you have?
A Cheeto, 3 quarters and 2 pennies.
3 pennies, 2 quarters.
3 pennies and 2 quarters. 53.
Correct. If you find a cougar ant in the couch cushions, it means you've got a gold coin from what country?
I don't know. What I get 4?
What the fuck is a cougar ant?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I wish that could be this.
Jennifer?
I wish that could be this week's show title, but it can't be.
And it's probably a good thing. I don't
It's a
know what
cougar
it
ant.
is.
It's from South Africa. All right, let's see. You missed Cars for Kids. That song is drained in my brain forever. Milky Way, you got Red Lobster, you got Math, you got 53 cents. That's a 4 spot. That's a 4 spot. All right, Robert Horry. 4 to tie, 5 to win. And you need the win or the game is over. So let's load them up. 60 seconds. Here we go. Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza is a comically misheard lyric of what Elton John song?
I don't know.
Tiny Dancer. Joe Burrow unexpectedly led one NFL team to its first Super Bowl appearance in 33 years.
Bengals?
The Bengals is correct. Dookie the Unicorn is the mascot of what popular toilet stool?
I don't know.
Squatty Potty. In literature, the abbreviation YA stands for what category of fiction?
You ass?
No, young adult. The Guardians are a relatively newly renamed Major League Baseball team that play at home games in what city?
Washington?
The Cleveland Guardians. What 24th letter of the alphabet is also the Roman numeral for 10?
X?
Correct. When the taco truck guy asks for corn or flour, he wants your preference on what part of the taco?
Tortilla.
Correct. The best-selling nonfiction book. That is a dub for Brandon Harper. My goodness. Just you got the Bengals. You missed Squatty Potty. You missed Young Adult.
What the fuck is a Squatty
You missed
Potty?
the
You
Cleveland
never heard of Squatty
Guardians.
Potty?
Oh, yeah. They've been around for years, man.
I've heard of
You
that.
got 10, and you got Tortilla.
I'm mad you didn't get the Guardians one.
Yeah, the Cleveland Guardians, man.
Who?
Used to be called the Cleveland
They used to be the
Indians.
Indians.
but
They renamed it to the Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians.
All right, that's a big dub for Brandon Harper. Congratulations.
Hey, I'm surprised. Well, I think they tried coming for the Braves, didn't they? No, they just tried to get rid of the tomahawk chop.
I don't know. There was conversation at some point that they were going to come for the Braves, and they did not, thankfully. But thank you, everybody, for joining us this week, and good luck Googling what the fuck is a cougar amp.